She came to finalize the divorce. He froze when he realized she was 7 months pregnant. The courthouse hallway smelled of old paper and rain-soaked coats, and time seemed to pause the moment he lifted his eyes from the file in his hands. She stood there, thinner in the face but heavier in a way that could not be hidden by her loose shawl, one hand resting instinctively on her stomach. 7 months pregnant. The truth hit him harder than any argument they had ever had, harder than the silence that had broken their marriage. He had come prepared to sign his name and walk away forever, but in that instant, his certainty shattered, replaced by a slow, terrifying realization that life had been moving forward without him, carrying a secret he was never meant to ignore. Before this story goes any further, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of human connection, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. She had not planned for this moment to feel so heavy. In her mind, finalizing the divorce was supposed to be a clean ending, a necessary step toward a future she had been forced to imagine alone. The pregnancy had not been part of her plan either. It arrived quietly during the last fragile weeks of their marriage, a time filled with misunderstandings, unspoken fears, and a loneliness that lived under the same roof. When she realized she was pregnant, he was already gone emotionally, buried in work and resentment, convinced that love had simply expired. Telling him felt pointless then, almost cruel, because he had made it clear he was done. So she carried the truth in silence, along with the weight of her growing child and a heart that had learned how to endure disappointment. Her journey through those months was not graceful. There were nights she cried on the bathroom floor, mornings she stared at her reflection wondering how she would do this alone, and days when fear sat in her chest like a stone. She worked longer hours to save money, skipped meals when nausea refused to fade, and learned how to be strong because there was no other choice. The baby became her anchor, each movement a reminder that even when relationships fail, life still insists on hope. Yet hope was painful too, because it came with memories of what could have been, of a man she once loved deeply, and of a family that almost existed. He, on the other hand, believed he had already grieved the marriage. After she moved out, he told himself the separation was necessary, even healthy. He filled his days with noise and distraction, convincing himself that the quiet at night meant peace rather than loss. Signing the divorce papers was supposed to be the final step, a relief. But seeing her pregnant tore through every lie he had carefully built. Questions he never allowed himself to ask came rushing in. How long had she known? Why had she not told him? And most painfully, what kind of man walks away without realizing he is leaving behind his own child? As they sat through the formal process, the world felt unreal to him. Her presence filled the room, not with anger, but with a calm sadness that spoke of battles already fought. He noticed the dark circles under her eyes, the way she breathed carefully, the quiet strength in her posture. This was not the woman he remembered from their arguments. This was someone transformed by responsibility and sacrifice. And for the first time since their separation, he felt small, confronted by the consequences of his absence. After that day, nothing felt simple. The divorce papers were signed, but his mind refused to move on. He began replaying their past, recognizing moments where pride had outweighed compassion and where listening could have changed everything. Guilt followed him everywhere, especially at night when he imagined her alone, preparing for motherhood without support. Slowly, something inside him shifted. He started reaching out, not with grand promises, but with small acts of accountability. He educated himself, offered help, and showed up consistently, even when she met his efforts with caution rather than trust. For her, accepting his presence was not easy. Pain does not disappear just because regret arrives late. She had learned to survive without him, and independence had become her shield. But she also understood that the child deserved more than unresolved bitterness. Over time, she allowed space for cooperation, then conversation, and eventually, cautious understanding. They did not pretend the past had not hurt them. Instead, they acknowledged it, learning that healing does not mean forgetting, but choosing to grow beyond what broke you. As the due date approached, the air between them changed. Fear gave way to preparation, and resentment softened into shared responsibility. He attended appointments, learned how to care rather than control, and discovered a humility he had never known before. She watched him closely, not through the lens of who he used to be, but who he was becoming. Trust rebuilt itself slowly, not as a dramatic reunion, but as a quiet partnership rooted in accountability and respect. Just before the ending of this story, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and share your thoughts. Do you believe people can truly change when faced with responsibility and love? Your words might inspire someone reading them today. When the baby finally arrived, it was not a miracle that erased the past, but a beginning that redefined the future. Holding their child, they both understood that life does not always give second chances in the way we expect, but sometimes in the way we need most. They were no longer two people bound by a broken marriage, but two adults choosing to show up, to learn, and to put love into action rather than promises. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment now to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who might need hope today. Your engagement helps keep stories like this alive, reminding the world that even after heartbreak, compassion and growth can still lead us home.